There's nothing you could have done to change what they did to you.
This truth is much harder to soak in when you're also autistic and tend to ruminate.
Oh shit, here we go again.
It's already bad enough that the individual hurt you. It's already bad enough that you're trying to conceptualize an alternate universe in which that didn't occur and you didn't have to go through that pain and all that healing and all that shadow work and bullshit. Now you have to add on the compounded fact that you are trying to figure out what did you do to maybe justify why they treated you the way that they treated you. Or you're trying to tell yourself there's something different you could have done in your reaction to what they did to keep them around. All that mental gymnastic bullshit doesn't really add to anything but more stress for you in the long run. And I can say that because I'm still doing it. Constantly ruminating on things that don't make sense, which if you don't know what that word means, being somebody who is constantly going to think about things that don't make sense until they make sense is stressful in and of itself. But trying to tell myself that there's nothing I could have done to change them is hard because part of my makeup is doing what I can to help others. And that kind of sort of ties into there being something wrong with them and I need to fix it. It's the immovable personality trait versus the unstoppable need to make things right. And it all just ends in a cataclysm of stress for me and not them, because if they were bothered, it would have never occurred in the first place. I'm gonna give you 2 examples. That was 4. I'm gonna give you 2 examples. First example being one of the people that I called my instructor and almost called a friend at one point in time, basically flipping the script on me, wanting to get rid of me, kick me out of the gym, push me to my limit, break me even, because he felt challenged by my presence there. Mind you, in my head, I'm thinking it's like a Miles Morales, Peter Parker situation. I'm thinking maybe I have a new friend. I just got to the state. It's going to be great for me. No. Essentially, this individual was putting all of his faculties and abilities and knowledge into running me off and or getting me hurt to the point where I did not want to come back, while I was trying to figure out how to be a good person towards him and make our bond stronger. In the end, his characteristics and how messed up of a person he was ended up being his own undoing, and I didn't have to lift a finger. I ended up actually taking the position that he tried so hard to keep me from that I wasn't even worried about in the first place. And I still have moments and times where I sit back and I wonder, what could I have done differently to maybe have preserved our friendship, all things considered? But there's nothing I could have done because his intentions from the get-go were sour. When that's the case, it doesn't matter all the other ingredients I add to that cake. If the base is bullshit, it's gonna be bullshit. The second thing I'm not going to get too deep into because it's a whole well of information, but essentially talking about my father. When I tell you that man is a textbook carbon copy of what a supervillain is, I genuinely mean that in a non-comedic sense. He is a prime functioning sociopath and narcissist, and I will say that and take whatever storm comes with it. If he's got family members on here that follow me that have a problem with that, go get him the help he needs. But one of the main reasons why we didn't click is because I'm on the spectrum and he's a narcissist. If you know anything about those 2 mental wirings, is they don't click in any way, shape, form, or fashion. If anything, they come at odds on every level possible. To really capsize a lot of the terrible things that this man did, one of the things he did was try to skew my view of him and turn me against the family that raised me, essentially. Pull me from home, then abandon me, create the need for him. I think it's called a hero complex. Anytime that he couldn't manipulate an aspect of me, he would lash out, essentially. We had physical altercations, we had verbal altercations, mental altercations. Genuinely, like, we just fought on every level known to man. And I still, to this day, will sometimes ask myself if I did enough as the son to try and mend that bond. At the end of the day, I did what I could with both of those individuals. Funny that they're both men. And what I got was the fruits of my labor. But that's not my fault. I shouldn't want to go back and change anything because at the end of the day, I was willing to change, evolve, adapt, and grow. They were who they were from the get-go and did not change, which is why those bonds no longer exist. So I say this to you: if you find yourself ruminating, trying to figure out an alternate universe or situation in which things could have worked out, you could have maintained the bond, whatever the case may be, if you were truly not in the wrong and at the end of the day they weren't a good person, call a spade a spade.